rose ceremony, the fantasy suites, holy matrimony. Oh, won't you please take this rose? Welcome, everybody, to Buns and Roses. This is my very first episode of this Bachelor Recap podcast, and I am so excited to have these incredible guests here. There's going to be a different cast of characters every week joining me to break down the Bachelor episodes. So I'm going to introduce you to our amazing guests right now. First off, we've got Rachel F. Hey, Rachel.
Hello.
Rachel is a playwright and performance artist from LA. Her newest project, Pink Lotion, uber sensual cosmic funk duo with Eric Blood, just released their new music video piece for Quarantine Dream via YouTube. And oh my gosh, Pink Lotion is one of my favorite bands. I'll bump some of that under this so you guys can hear. It is the most danceable, fun, funky, sexy, awesome music. Get it, Pink Lotion. Get some Pink Lotion.
Wubba wubba, babies.
So happy to have you here, Rachel. And Rachel, real quick, are you a Bachelor fan? Have you ever watched The Bachelor?
This is my first foray into The Bachelor.
My goodness, I love that. I love that for you. I love that for us.
Yes.
Okay, wow. Next we have Cassandra Violet. Hi, Cassandra.
Hi.
Artist and whistler, Cassandra Violet is a Bachelor devotee. She has an upcoming album coming out this year. It's called Maybe It's Not Too Late. You can find her on Spotify. She's had music on television and in films, including the TV show Ozark. She loves making pie in her spare time. And oh my gosh, can I just say, your pies look delicious. And I always want some when I see them on Instagram.
Thank you so much. Wow, I wrote that bio very hastily. The pie was the last thing. But yes.
I mean, yeah, it's the last thing, but it's the thing that really sticks with you, you know? Tell me about your little birdie friend.
Oh, this is a filter that I found because I was so sad because everyone else is so much more festive than I, including Rachel's very colorful background. And so I wanted to have a little bird. I guess there could be symbolism, but I just think it's cute.
Does that bird do a little whistle?
The bird is whistling, yes.
I love that. That's so cool. And last but not least, we have Pastor Caleb. Hi, Pastor Caleb.
Well, hello.
Rogue preacher of the Not So Sacred in Song and Sermon, Pastor Caleb, that's Caleb with a K, has been ringing in the most colorful season with his springtime celebration for 21 years. You can see his weekly offerings on YouTube at Pastor Caleb's Short and Sweets. And I don't know if anybody knows, I'm Snacks the Bunny, and I have watched many seasons of The Bachelor and tend to listen to a lot of the podcasts and just have a secret relationship with this show that I thought I would share with friends and possibly family this year too. I tried to get into the Nemacolin Chateau, but they wouldn't let me in for security reasons. So I'm here at the Semicolon Chateau in the cigar lounge, and that's where I'm going to be doing my podcasting for this season. And
you know, Snacks.
Yeah.
Snacks, if you would have tried to raid the White House, I think you might have been able to get in, though.
Oh my gosh! But you know what? I kind of think that chateau looks bigger than the White House. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
It's
You're right.
gigantic.
It's huge.
That red carpet, that carpet going up into the stars, amazing.
I don't know why Trump just isn't trying to move there. It's bigger. I think he would enjoy that, you know?
Right.
Yes, 25 seasons in. Can you believe it? And you know what? If nothing else, over the years we've learned, it's everyone's favorite Christian dating show. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I thought it was only appropriate that we kick this one off. We have Pastor Caleb here. Pastor Caleb, would you please start us off right with a prayer?
Of course. Let's all bow our heads now, shall we? Brothers and sisters and all you twisters out there, it is nice to see more people on the screen who look like others, not me. To see the hopes and dreams. It's a prayer to the world, to hear the real life schemes, to watch the broken try to mend their purple, vibrating hearts. On this beautiful day, love is in the air. Can you feel it? Amen.
Amen.
So, before we jump into the beat by beat, what are people's general feelings about this first episode of season 25 of The Bachelor?
Well, since I'm not very acquainted with the series, I was hesitant to watch the show because I quite frankly didn't think it would be trashy enough. I'm very used to spending my time watching things like Cheaters or Maury or
Okay, so on the trash meter, where do you see The Bachelor?
It's getting up there. It's getting up there because I would have to say on a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably a good 8.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's gonna have to. I mean, I know that Flavor of Love came after the first Bachelor, but you can't beat Flavor of Love. And
Flav.
Matt says that he's the first Black Bachelor. I would say, nay.
Oh, that's a hot take. I like that.
I agree. Yeah.
Cassie, what are your thoughts? Since you're a Bachelor veteran.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I feel I really, really appreciate having something to look forward to watching in quarantine. Like there's nothing going on in my life at all. I also just watched the Bachelorette season, which just ended last week or something, 2 weeks ago.
So quickly.
And because I guess the timing of the seasons is off or something. And I felt like that season sort of broke with form in a lot of ways. I sound like it's very serious critique, but I really enjoyed that season. It, featured 2 different leads, both of who were women who really knew what they wanted, who were a little bit older, closer to my age. And I was sort of I really appreciated that. And the contestants were men who were really, but for the most part, really emotionally mature and talked about their feelings. And Zach, who won, is like a sobriety counselor. It was just so awesome to see a real relationship form. And then 2 weeks later, I feel like I have whiplash a little bit. Matt James is cool and it's cool, but it's 24-year-old girls being kind of catty. And I just feel a little bit I'm glad I have something to watch, but I'm a little bit I miss how cool last season was.
Wow, that's really good to know because it's from me looking from the outside in, I'm just of course, this is probably how the show always is. It's just all of a sudden just drama, at the drop of the hat for no reason.
I also feel like they clearly spend a lot more money on The Bachelor, which is just I guess patriarchy at work. I don't know, they're shelling out the big bucks on this show, and the difference in budget is clear.
The last season, they were all stuck at a La Quinta in Palm Desert the entire time. And
You're right. But I got to say, they were struggling to figure out how to make a show in the last season. And this season, they kind of nailed it. They were oh, this is what we got to do. We got to find a fantastic, fabulous place that we can take adventures on. That's a huge chateau sort of style place.
Did you guys get to check out the website for this location? They have everything. They have an ice cream shop. They've got paintball, but the picture for the paintball is a bunch of old ladies with different pastel color wigs holding paintball guns. And I was
nice.
Take me there. I want to go there.
Sounds like my choir.
That's my dream date. You know what I'm saying? It does sound it is like the Pastor Caleb choir. That's great. The Easter choir. Okay, cool. So we're just going to go right into the show. We had a cold open with Katie getting out of the limo with the censored object.
Why was it censored? I got to ask.
Here's my thing. It's so stupid because, okay, the show is called The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, depending on what season. And anyone who's ever seen a bachelorette party in real life, the women are just wearing penises on their heads all the time, or like penis straws. Like, why are we being so?
I've made penis cakes for people at parties.
And then I wondered, could it actually be a lightsaber? Because George Lucas is highly litigious, and he probably would not want, or is it Disney now? I don't even know who owns Star Wars anymore.
I think it's Disney.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Disney owns Star Wars.
So they start with this because this is clearly going to be the most outrageous part of the episode, and then they're just like, the new season starts now, and they cut to the intro package where we meet Matt James, and they can't stress enough that Matt James has never been on TV before, and oh my God, but
fresh face,
and like they're really selling us on Matt James, and they cut to him, and he does a lot of different workouts. He starts with some running,
autumnal shirtless jogging.
Yeah, it's pumpkin spice running. And then we meet his mom, who, wow, she looks like Celine Dion to me. I really just thought she was going to break out into song.
She was kind of giving me Cher from Mask vibes.
Oh yeah,
well, she had those leather pants.
Yeah,
leather pants.
She's like that era diva. She's either Celine Dion or Cher. And yeah, the leather pants. I was like, wow, this mom is cool.
I dug it.
I'll bet she can sing.
Yeah.
I'll bet she can sing, and I bet she's really Christian.
Something that Mom said that really was interesting to me is that when she was talking to her son, and he said, I don't want a broken heart.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want to have a broken heart. That's why I haven't been in love yet. And she said, well, I think that's really neat.
He says, it gives me hope that you think you might have a broken heart. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
He was worried that he might be a robot. And now I'm glad you're not a robot.
It gives me real hope.
I feel like his personality is exercise.
Yeah.
That's all we saw. We saw various workouts.
Hey, all right. He works with kids. Come on.
Urban youth. The urban youth. Oh my God. Like him saying that term I was just like, wait a minute. Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm going through convulsions. The deal.
No, it's all right.
Is that I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm Black. I don't ever use the term urban or inner city ever.
No, why?
Describe my work. Because I feel like that's coded language for something. And I'm just like, I don't know, sir.
I feel like there were a lot of moments like that in this episode.
Okay, yeah. So we are so we're at the space in the show where they're introducing some of the women.
One of them said that, first of all, I thought tall, dark, and handsome is my type was, what a cliche. Come on. Yeah. Isn't that everybody's type? Nobody wants like short, white, and ugly. Nobody wants that.
It's like an AI watched a bunch of 80s movies and then learned what to say in a date.
Right. You're right. And then I would say that one of them said, I think about Matt and I get a rash.
But yeah, let's get to this conversation between Chris Harrison and Matt James. So Matt's at the mansion. Chris pulls up. They have this little exchange at the front. And then, they try to feign an impromptu decision to go inside and to speak to each other. But there's a clearly set up fireside chat.
Yes, it's perfectly set up.
Yeah.
Are the limos just circling the whole time?
That's right. And they're screaming every time they turn the corner. Ah! It's a bachelorette party every time.
Yeah. So they go inside. They sit down. Chris Harrison says, you might have to choke me out.
Why? That's so crazy. Oh, yeah.
And then, Matt James expresses some discomfort, trepidation, whatever, about being the first Black bachelor. I'd love to know your thoughts on how this conversation went.
Well, he's got a lot of weight. The weight of both races upon his shoulders.
I mean, it was so clearly like the producers made him do this. You know what I mean? It was so clearly manipulated by production that like to say that it was him who wanted to stop the process of like meeting the girls is ludicrous. They're clearly like, we have to talk about you being the first Black Bachelor and you're going to be the one to bring it up. We're not going to talk about it first. So it has to come from you. And it was like, it just felt disingenuous and weird to me.
Yeah. And also like Chris Harrison, is he the right person to have that conversation with? I mean, I don't know. He's like, yeah, I totally get it, man. I remember when I was the first Black Bachelor.
Rachel, what do you think?
Oh, man. As soon as he started to say what he said, I was immediately hit with the microaggressions of being a Black woman dating.
Yeah.
And to just see in the spotlight, again, the codified language of like, people are making me or are wanting me to date a certain person. And I'm like, what do you effing mean? You could have just went on the show, kissed a bunch of girls and picked a girl. And that's all you had to do.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go on the show and explain anything to anyone. Because now I'm looking at him as someone who is not to be trusted. Also, I just really want to bring up the fact again that when watching Flavor of Love, Flavor Flav never had to do that. Flavor Flav never did that.
I think if anyone walks away from this podcast with any takeaways, it's that Flavor Flav was the true first Black Bachelor.
Yes.
That's right. You're right about that.
You know what it was too? In last season, there was that conversation between Tayshia and Ivan where they talked about George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement. And it was like, they were talking about it like as a dialogue, and it wasn't, like Chris.
Yeah, it didn't seem forced. It didn't seem like that. Yeah,
it wasn't like
about that.
Two chairs set up in front of a fireplace.
No.
A fireside chat, if you will.
Yeah.
Winged back chairs.
Yeah.
Oh yes, very sophisticated. Okay.
Okay. So on to the limousines. Okay. So first out of the limo, we had Brie. Brie was wearing a green dress, and she seemed nice. I don't really have many thoughts about Brie, except that I think she'll probably go very far.
Yeah, she seems pretty cool. Like, I would have to say, even like the first couple of people that came out, I was just like, yeah, you guys are in. You seem compatible. You don't seem overly starving for attention or knowing that you're on TV for the such. I mean, even if you were on the television for ratings, I wouldn't mind either, because I feel like all these shows are like clearly like the same type of deal. I mean, like, that's how Cardi B started out. So like, who am I to judge? You know what I mean?
Well, you like trash TV.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And the fact that we're getting some women in there with like some good personalities to be like, you know what, I'm gonna bring a dildo, or I'm gonna bring a sweaty meatball that was in my purse for God knows long.
I'm gonna leave you with a bowl of noodles.
I really feel like all of the women blended together with like 4 exceptions. Like, I don't remember any of them, and a lot of them started to look really similar.
Yes.
I will say it's a much more diverse cast than normal.
Surprising.
A lot more. But there's a lot of girls on there. I was like, wait, what? I thought you just came out of the limo, but it's someone who looks just like you, and you're wearing like a sequin dress that like goes down a plunging neckline with straps, and it's kind of a blue dress. And I was getting really confused with all the women. I like Brie. She had the cute green dress. I like the girl MJ, curly hair with the pizza box. She was cute. Cute girl. And honestly, I like the ballerina who went home. What a shame.
All right. I want to talk about something really quick, which is, I know I'm a male amongst females, perhaps. And I will say, I hate that everybody is referred to as girls. Who wants to date a goddamn girl? I want to date a woman.
Yeah.
I think that this is a terrible thing about the show. Everyone refers to them as girls. The girls refer to them as girls. They're women. Everybody's a woman there. And what's wrong with wanting to date a powerful, beautiful adult woman? That's it. That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Yes, I agree. When I was like 22 or 23 and someone called me a woman, I was like, oh, why? I'm a girl. I don't know. Maybe it's like they don't want to seem old. I don't know.
Oh, damn. Yeah, maybe because they are pretty young, a lot of these women, you know. Wait, so we got to talk about this ballerina because I just felt like someone dancing ballet at you is so fucking creepy. And I'm sorry, stepping out of the car and like, whatever, plie, I don't know what the ballet terms are.
Pirouette.
Pas de bourrée.
At somebody. Imagine someone coming at you. Just pirouette at him. He'll love it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, I've been through multiple Flavor of Loves and multiple I Love New York. I mean, I've seen an episode where like one of the female contestants defecated on the stairs while they were waiting to be called into to be part of the group that goes on to the next session. And she got near semifinals. So go ahead, dance away. It was entertaining on my end. Like I'm the one who benefits from this.
Yeah,
overall.
that's true. It's for you. It's not for him. It's for you.
It's not for him because she went home. She's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
She danced her little heart out. She left it all out on the floor. She really did. Any other limousine entrances stick out to you? I mean, for me, we got to talk about this meatball thing because I
was like, meatballs, yes.
Okay, first of all, this woman, I'm deeply troubled. These meatballs are way too big.
They were huge.
There's no sauce, and no sauce is a trend because then the woman with the noodles had no sauce.
No, it's terrible. Those noodles. How can you Lady and Tramp
Why are they
a dry noodle?
Like, why are they in a sauce desert? Like, what is happening in Nemacolin that they can't get tomato sauce on their meatballs and pastas? I'm furious right now.
What about the pizza car?
Yeah, I mean, I loved that. I wish we'd seen, you know, I'll bet the pizza had sauce.
I think you're right.
You know what I mean?
Well, what about Katie?
Well, Katie, okay, so she had the dildo and or the lightsaber, whatever it is. We actually don't know what it was. Let's be fair.
They called it a lightsaber. And I don't know what it would cut, but it would definitely cut butter.
I liked her and I thought she was cute. And then I thought she like couldn't let it go. Like she was coming up to him later, like still holding it like, hey, like, okay, like that's cute. That's not your whole personality. Like, I don't know. I think she let it go too long.
What if she's like Edward Penis Hands?
Fingers. She did vibrate tap one of the ladies, right?
Dildo booping. Hashtag dildo booping.
Yeah.
Dildo boop.
Dildo boop. That was such a classic moment. And then we had Kayla with the truck, and she's from North Carolina.
Oh, love her. Love her.
I liked her, actually. I liked her.
That was cool. She drives
awesome.
stick. She wants you to know it.
She's funny. Love her.
Once I learn how to operate a manual vehicle, I will let everyone know.
I'm pretty bummed out about my favorite, which was Sene. She had the goat feet.
Oh, she was so cute.
I loved her. I thought she was
Cosplay
adorable.
girl.
She was so cool. She seemed awesome. She seemed like she'd be like our best friend. And she didn't make it past the first week, and that was such a bummer.
Victoria, you know, she's a white girl who thinks she's royalty. What was her opening line? Like, hello, bitches, the queen is here.
Okay, yeah. And that's like, you know, it's kind of like if you ever want to enter a room full of women and get them on your side, you spread your arms out like this and you say something emphatic and then say bitches at the end.
Right. And if you ask me, like a white girl acting like she's royalty, like she did, equals unemployed.
What was her job description?
I think it just said queen.
It just said queen. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, no, that's good. That's solid. I don't like Victoria, but to put actual like queen as your employment deal, I appreciate that. I appreciate that on all fronts. Like at least she's going all the way with it.
She's who I think is a producer plan.
Oh, definitely. 100%. Matt James is not into that girl at all. No.
I mean, he votes in the drunk queen over the ballerina.
That's crazy.
Okay, I'm reading about Victoria, and it says, Victoria is quite the entrepreneur. She created Jet Set Glow, a mobile spray tanning company.
Wait a minute. Maybe Victoria is my favorite now.
She's like all the just Bachelor tropes like melted into one Bachelor trope that's like melting. Oh, God.
Like this bio of her just keeps going. Like, I don't actually understand. Like, she used to be a flight attendant. She's also a real estate agent. Like, this woman, I'm so confused. She's worn many hats and some tiaras.
Does she live in Hollywood?
She lives in Los Angeles, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Oh, you guys, what if I become friends with Victoria?
Oh my God. I would love that.
That would be great to see on the show.
Yeah, get her on.
I'll bring her on.
Here on Buns and Roses.
I'll do it. I'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right. That's your assignment for the season. You become friends with her, bring her on the show. It'll be great. That was basically all of the limousine moments, right?
Kit.
Oh, Kit, yeah.
Kit.
She's a child.
She's 21 and very rich. She's the daughter of Cynthia Rowley, the designer.
Whoa.
And
she did show up with designer clothes.
And
very wealthy.
Said that limos give her rideshare vibes.
Right. She showed up in a Bentley. Yeah.
Do you understand? That's how rich I want to be.
Oh my God.
Limos.
How rich? Oh, only peasants arrive in limos. Oh my God, I want to be this so bad.
Like rideshare vibes. And, she had a lot of feathers on her dress. She really just looked 12 years old to me, though. I'm sorry. I
agree. Well, she acted that way, too. And she immediately had the biggest beef with the other 12-year-old who was there, which was the queen, Victoria.
Yeah.
They're both so young, such babies.
But why do women have to be pitted against each other? It's so stupid and retro. I guess it's like the foundation of trash TV, but can't we move beyond this?
Well, that's why you liked last season.
That's why I loved last season. It was so awesome.
Because there was no girl beefs.
We did all the limos, and now we're going into the house. This is the moment where Matt James
gives the prayer.
Leads us all in prayer. Okay. So he just decides that when he enters this room full of women that he's just met, that the thing to do would be to lead everybody in prayer. What did you guys think about this moment?
Oh, I wrote something down. I said, no praying, don't you dare bring holy baby Jeebus into this.
I mean, I might be the only pastor of this group. Maybe not. I don't know what you do on your spare time, but
I'm a past pastor.
I mean, why would you go lead someone through a prayer on your first date?
The prayer made me feel very uncomfortable. It made me feel like when I was in a gospel choir for one quarter of my college career. And I was like, this is so awesome. But then I realized that they made you pray all together and bow to the Heavenly Father. And I was like, I'm not religious. I'm culturally Jewish, I guess. I didn't really grow up praying. And I think it's very alienating. I was listening to another podcast that made a really good point. And that podcast said, if Matt James were a Muslim, would this happen? No. If
Wow.
he were Jewish, would it happen? No. It's
Hmm.
because they're assuming that the audience is Christian, which I guess it is. I don't know. The Christianity being the norm on this show and every lead being Christian is like taken as the norm. And it's really, I don't know. It's very sort of alienating and makes me feel like kind of icky. And it was very presumptuous of him to do that to like
Yeah.
a room full of women who don't necessarily have the same beliefs. But I will say on the last season, there was, the whole thing with Ivan not being religious, and Tasha was religious. And then he left because he doesn't really believe in God or whatever. Or no, he is not an atheist. What is that? Agnostic. He's agnostic. Yeah. That's right. And that was like so crazy. They didn't even show that. The idea of someone not believing in like a Christian God on this show is so crazy. And I don't know, it was kind of icky to me. And I think maybe it was done to make him more palatable to the white Christian audience.
I think so too.
Well, I don't know. I got to say it, like, white Christians aren't the only Christians out there. There is a huge Baptist Christian, like Black community. It's like
Big.
huge.
What do you guys think was more presumptuous? Ileana shoving a giant meatball down Matt James's throat, assuming that he probably eats meat, or Matt James leading a
Same.
room full of women?
Same. I would say the same.
I have food allergies, and I was horrified at her just shoving a meatball into his mouth.
It
That
was absolutely
horrifying me.
disgusting.
I cannot get off this meatball thing. I'm so sorry.
Snacks,
So-
I'm going to shove a peanut butter sandwich into your mouth.
I'm just shook. I'm shook. Much like Rachel was, not you, Rachel, but contestant Rachel was with this prayer.
She was shook by that prayer.
She was
She
rocked.
was emotional.
She was ready
rocked.
to marry him in that moment.
I got to say, for me, and now I'm a pastor, a non-religious pastor, because I don't drink that tea.
Which tea?
The religious tea.
Oh,
The
okay.
twisted tea. Exactly. The twisted tea. You're right. You're right, Rachel.
Pastor, since you often lead people in things like prayers and sermons, do you
Sure.
find that this kind of response is normal? Do women throw themselves at you after you pray?
No, I don't. And if they do, it's really awkward.
Yeah, that would be kind of awkward, right?
But like, if you can't get wet for Jesus, then who can you get wet for? When it comes to belief, I think the true tragedy is that no one has any belief for sauce and spices.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm with you.
Dry ass balls.
Dry balls, dry pastas. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what shook me. If there's one thing that I felt rocked about and shook about, it was the lack of sauces. Let's just say it. Yeah.
I think you're right.
The pasta looked lightly oiled.
It was oiled with wet for Jesus.
Look, everyone, here's the deal. Imagine, we don't have to imagine. We've been living in a pandemic for a full year.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go ahead and you isolate yourself for like 3 weeks. And then you meet a stranger and they shove something with their bare hands in your face.
I want to get to this moment where Kayla talks about how Matt is not a snack. He's not a snack.
He's a 5-course meal.
He's the appetizer. He's your little gazpacho.
Mm-hmm.
He's the first entree. He's the second. And it's what I've been missing my whole life. Are we to assume that Kayla has never eaten a meal in her whole life? What do you guys think?
Where's the dessert?
Yeah, there's no dessert in that 5-course meal. That's insane.
Gazpacho is so specific. So she's never eaten a cold Spanish soup.
You know, can I just mention, somebody said maybe the most poignant moment of the whole show. Somebody earlier said that nobody can relate to perfect.
That's really nice. I wish I remembered who said that.
And I thought that was, in the end, the most, after I watched the whole thing, I've reviewed my notes. That was like the most beautiful, poignant thing that someone said the whole show was, And nobody can relate to perfect because we're not perfect. And I thought that was beautiful.
My favorite moment was when Victoria was I think she was very drunk, and she's telling the girls, they're like, I don't know, I feel awkward interrupting. And she's like, market yourself to him. Market yourself to him.
I know we're talking about Victoria's penchant to imbibe, but let's be real. All of them were drinking.
Oh yeah.
So what do you think is a ballpark figure of how many bottles of champagne or sparkling wine really was consumed?
Yeah, right.
I think they have a 2-drink maximum per hour.
Yeah.
So they can't drink more than 2 drinks per hour. They didn't used to have that, but they got into trouble a few seasons back. And since then, it's 2 drinks per hour, which...
I mean, that's a lot still, because like...
A lot still.
The rose ceremony happens and it's morning. Like, they don't sleep.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, the woman, when the ballerina was eliminated and she walked out, it was daylight.
Yeah.
Because they film all night long that first night.
What's a Lionel Richie song or something?
All night long.
Night.
All night long.
All night.
I love it.
How many times can you say the word vulnerable?
Vulnerable, and they can't. None of them can ever pronounce it. It's always like. Like last season, I think Tasha had a really hard time saying vulnerable. She was really stumbling over that word.
Yeah, but she said it like 10 times every episode.
Yeah, vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
1, 2, 3.
Vulnerable.
Vulnerable. What about the big unpacker? He said unpack like a whole bunch of times.
Yeah, that was another word I wrote down. He was like, I just can't wait to finish unpacking. It's like, yeah, me too. And then there was a lot of literally too. There was one girl, I don't remember her name, but she's teaching him a dance step. And he's like, is that the basic step? And she goes, that's literally the basic step. And I'm like, okay, you don't need literally right there.
What about drinking through the fire hose?
Yeah, that moment was pretty funny because it felt like Victoria was looking for the joke. Like, he was actually being pretty sincere. And she's like, wow, that sounds great. I'd love to drink through a fire hose. And I'd like to be the fire hose that you drink from. I'd be a really good fire hose. Wow, I love drinking alcohol through fire hoses.
When someone doesn't really understand a metaphor, she wasn't even listening to him. All she heard was blah, 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 fire hose. And she's like, well, I could be a fire hose. I'll be your fire hose, baby.
That leads us right into the rose ceremony, if everybody's ready to talk about that.
Has anyone ever been like to the point of salivating over a rose in a porcelain dish?
I mean, okay.
It sounds like a Greek tragedy.
It's Pavlov's bell, but it's a rose. on a dish.
It's such a funny and insane choice that they make every time, where they pick one person who's spinning out the most and they edit their reactions into the rose ceremony. And I mean, this was Mary Lynn and Anna in this rose ceremony. They both had their little monologues of like, oh my God, he's not going to pick. Wait, that's not my name. Oh God. And Mary Lynn, she even said like, sir, can you please like me? I like you. And then he calls her name and then it's like all the tension's like broken. And she's like, cool, thanks. It's always like a little cringy to hear the monologue of desperation right before they get that rose. So Anna, then she's hyperventilating to the rose ceremony and she decides she's going to use her face, her physicality, her eyes to telepathically burn her image into his brain. And it was so funny, the one moment when they called the girl's name behind her, who's wearing the same dress as her.
Oh, what a tragedy. Who made that call?
And I think it's Alana and Anna. I think that was why there was like a mix-up, and they had the same dress, so she thought it was her name, and then, oh my gosh.
That girl stressed me out.
Yeah.
The rose ceremony for me, it was fine. And the ballerina went home. And I thought that was a shame because clearly she hadn't talked to Matt James. And they both live in New York. And, you know, they're like both very in shape people. And it seemed dumb. Like, why didn't you guys talk? I don't understand. She should have marketed herself better to him.
Yeah, but, you know, I mean, her over Victoria, what a blow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Doesn't make any sense.
But I feel like in a way, as the more I thought about it, I was all like, you know what, girl? You dodged an effing bullet. You dodged a bullet. Now everyone knows who you are. She's gonna get hooked up with some like hot dude.
Yeah, and she definitely had one of those exit interviews that sounded like she wanted more from her Bachelor career. She's like, somebody will love me someday, and then looked off wistfully and then repeated, someday.
I have a question. Do you guys think that Matt James is like charismatic?
No.
I can't tell.
You mean like charismatic, he could have a cult?
I think he was very nervous. He
Yeah.
was very nervous, but his personality to me is exercise. Like I said, he just didn't really do it for me. I was like, he's kind of like basic or something.
Yeah, but he's never been on TV.
I know.
Wait, and we get to see him showering soon, so that's a personality too, is showering.
I need to get over this with myself, but I also have feelings about like me looking at people with no clothes on and they were born in 1992 or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel weird. I feel odd.
Because you were born in 91, and that's weird.
Yes.
I also think just like ogling, I don't know how to say it. A man like shirtless hasn't ever really done it for me. And it's nice to look at, but it doesn't really like do it for me. Like, oh my God, 5-course meal. You know what I mean? Like it just is sort of
Gazpacho.
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 He's my little gazpacho. This is such a weird thing to say about somebody. So, okay, I want to ask you guys all, if you could give a rose to one person for this season, like who do you think? I want to know who you would pick and then who you think Matt will pick. Let's do that. Based on what you know, which is not a lot.
Wait, I made up my mind. No. It's Katie. Katie from Renton. Yeah, Katie from Renton. She's my girl. I'm just gonna go with it. I'm like, you know what? She really did put herself out there with something that intimate and that awkward. She was like, look, we're in this, and if you're not embarrassed with me, then you're gonna have to, if you can't handle this,
Mm-hmm.
then how are you gonna handle anything else
That's
with me?
true.
And so I appreciated that.
Yeah, there's a vulnerability to that.
Very vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's really unpacked a lot. I would say, I don't know anyone's names. The girl who was rocked to her core from the prayer, she will win.
Okay. Rachel?
I think she will win. Rachel. Yeah, that's my prediction. Rachel will get the final rose. And if I had to give a rose to anyone, it would be that cool, like the woman who just got her, what's her name? She got a degree. She's 32. She's from Ethiopia, I think.
Oh, Maggie.
She's gorgeous.
I don't think she's going to win either.
Well, so who do you think is going to win, Pastor Caleb?
Well, I mean, Mari.
You think Mari's going to win? The one he watched walk away for 15 minutes?
I kind of do.
Who would you pick, Caleb? Who would you give your rose to?
You know who I liked immediately? As I kind of liked Chelsea.
Okay.
Chelsea's tall. She had the beautiful dress. She was fantastic. She seemed confident. I have Chelsea written down, double underlined. Chelsea, double underlined. That's who I think
Okay,
I
so
would
she
give
gets
the
your
rose
rose.
to.
I'm going to say who mine are now. I think that the person who Matt James will pick in the end, gosh, I think I'm gonna go with Bree, who was the first one out of the limo.
Oh, nice call. Good call.
And then for me, my favorite, and I'm still gonna stand by this, was Sene with the goat feet. I thought she was adorable. I'm so sad she's not in this season. She had goat feet. I'm into that. I think that's pretty cool. And I just felt like she was relatable, and I was very sad that she was already voted off the island.
I have a question, though, for you, Snacks. How does a bunny relate to human love?
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. I think it's nice that humans like to slow down and not just hump all the time like we do. And you guys take the chance to get to know each other. And I think that it's very vulnerable and it's very beautiful, your love. And I'm fascinated by it. I can watch it all day while I'm having sex with lots of other partners. Okay, so that's about it. I mean, we kind of covered the whole show, I think. There were some scenes of what's going to come up, and it looks extremely dramatic. We've got some extra women filing in, some women from past seasons coming in, which is kind of silly. Any thoughts about the coming up previews?
Yes. Number one deal that I saw in the upcoming previews is some woman calling Matt daddy.
Oh, yeah.
Weird. Every time.
That's just weird
I
to
hate
me.
that. Yeah.
It's not right. And then also, I'm here for watching all of these people cry.
I have a small poem.
Oh, okay.
Can you feel the love? At least 32 did. People who felt it at first sight. He stood at the bottom of the stairs, welcomed them to heaven. As the limo pulled round the corner, a swell of violins, not heard over the screams of grown women with schoolgirl crush. In each heart, Etta James sings out, at last.
Wow.
Oh, nice James
Wow.
tie-in.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for being on this first episode of Buns and Roses. This was so much fun already. I'm going to go around and you guys can shout out to any projects you want people to know about or anything like that. Starting with you, Caleb.
Well, I'd encourage you to check out my weekly show at YouTube, which is Pastor Caleb's Short and Sweets. It's a fantastic little recap of what's going on in the world, but also sometimes just some silly, exciting bits about being alive.
All right, sure.
Also, I'd like you to come every week to see Buns and Roses.
Yes, thank you. Rachel.
Thank you so much again. This was so much fun. Quick, just wanted to tell everyone again that Pink Lotion's Quarantine Dream can be found and watched on YouTube for free. And we are working on a new album this year. Also, want you to keep a lookout for something that I wrote for an anthology called Joy Has a Sound that's being published by Third Press Books and Wanawari Cultural Center. And that will be coming out this year, 2020.
All right. Thank you, Rachel. And Cassie.
Yes, you can find my music and other things on my Spotify channel. Please find me on Spotify. I'm losing my mind. Find me, follow me. I have a new song coming out next week. It's called Swim Test. It's about my dad, and it's a very personal song. And it's one of the first songs I'm releasing off of an album that's going to be coming out later this year called Maybe It's Not Too Late. It's my first album ever, and I'm really excited about it. It is a very personal and fun. And it's a really fun journey. And yeah, I'm really excited. First song out next week. So follow me, Cassandra_Violet on Instagram. Thank you so much for having me. This is really fun.
Yay. Oh my gosh. Thank you. And thank you everybody for listening or watching. Please like and subscribe and comment and leave reviews for Buns and Roses. It might be under the name Snacks of Life for a while. I don't know when name changes happen in the podcast feeds. So if it's Snacks of Life, then write it there. But hopefully it'll appear as Buns and Roses soon. And check back in with us every week. We're going to try to publish shows every Thursday with a different cast of characters. And I'm sure some of these people will be back sometime this season. Holla! All right, everybody. Stay vulnerable. Keep your walls down. And love is a journey.
Take me down to the rose ceremony, the fantasy suites, holy matrimony. Oh, won't you please take this rose?